Good morning, everybody. Some people ask, how do I vet the borrowers? What's the process? What do I do? Well, I'm going to show you what I do right now. This file just hit my desk this morning. I'm going to contact the borrower. I'm going to ask them a few questions. I'm going to tell them what we're doing on how we're protecting the money, how we go in on the front end. And then, and then I'm going to put a marketing piece together and send it out to all my investors. Hang tight, and thank you for watching another one of my videos. This is something I bring to you guys as kind of training and showing you how to get the job done the proper way.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jason. How you doing?
If I were any better, there'd be three of me. How are you doing?
I love that response. I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. So, like I kind of mentioned in my text message really quick, I run the private money division here at Suncrest Capital Group. And I'm the man in charge of handling the down payment, closing cost, insurance, and fees that you saw on on that term sheet. There's a couple of things I need to go over with you, and some things that I need to ask you questions on. I'm probably going to need a total of about 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. We're good.
All right, perfect. So, Jason, first of all, I need to explain to you the securities behind how we're bringing this deal to the table. First of all, we're going to have a JV agreement. That agreement's going to spell out how much money my investors are going to bring to the table in order to fund your deal. And then it's going to also spell out how much interest they're going to earn. And I'm going to send you a copy of all the paperwork after our call. But I wanted to kind of go over it with you real quick, just kind of the meat and potatoes of it all. So it's also going to spell out my $100 a day penalty if you go beyond the term. And it's also going to tell you about, if God forbid something happens to you, that they would have the management authority to continue the project for you. Now, that's just one way. There's also an operating agreement. What we're going to do is we're going to make them a 51% member of your LLC. Now, it's only temporary. They'll come off as soon as you pay everybody back, but that's also another way and in protection for them in order for, like I said, God forbid something happens to you, they'll have access, to your deal, and they could talk for you as if they are you, essentially.
Sure.
And just to kind of let you know, on the front end, I'm going to go in on your LLC at a 1% membership. That way that I could continue getting access to the rehab budget. Again, this is all God forbid something happens. We're just trying to protect the money here and protect your deal.
I understand.
And then lastly, we're going to file a affidavit of memorandum in the county where the property is located. So that way on the exit, title knows that there's a JV agreement on the deal and they know to reach out to all the involved parties for your payoff letter.
Okay.
Okay, so that's kind of the securities end of it. I'm going to email you a copy of all those documents. I highly suggest you kind of read through them. It's an easy read. If you have any questions, let's have a discussion. If it's something that you don't agree with, that's fine. Remember, this is totally optional. You could cover your own down payment, closing cost, insurance, and fees if you like. So now the property we're talking about here is 1017 Chapman Ave, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let me go over the scope of work real quick here. Okay.
I'm adjusting it too because there's the guy that's going to do the work is part of my current property management company, and so he's got a history and good background, but he's not very computer savvy. For the interest of time, we went through this together, but Alina was telling me that I should probably be a little more detailed. So I want to fill in some more details and get on the phone with him and then talk about it and then resubmit.
Okay.
Within a day.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely important. Are you guys planning on pulling any permits for this rehab?
No.
So just kind of looking at this, you definitely don't need any permits for the windows or doors, and you don't need any permits for the plumbing or electrical work that you plan on doing. Is that right?
So far, I don't believe so. Everything is like there's nothing that's happening. We may need to pull a permit for to cap off the gas because it's currently a gas hot water heater.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I know he's got a plumber, but I'm not sure how deep they have to go just to plug that up. If his plumber comes over and does it, everyone so far. I mean, he's the second contractor I've had in there, and everyone's like, everything is like here and good so far. So nobody really feels like they need to do anything in the permit department at this point.
Okay. So let me ask, how many months do you think it'll take you to complete this project?
So he's telling me worst case scenario, 90 days. He said, I'm going to try to have it done in 30. So that'd be good.
Yeah.
And then I have a question for you, if you have any questions on that.
Go ahead. You could ask your question throughout the process. That's fine.
So if I get renters in here so my plan is, and I've talked to Renee about this, my plan is to refinance. He says he can't do it any sooner than 90 days. Is there any kind of conflict of interest of me putting renters in there prior to that deal happening?
No, as a matter of fact, it only makes your deal stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, if you have a tenant already in place, then the leverage amount that the amount that we're going to ask you for in order to close will change. It's less risky when you already have a tenant in place. You're going to make sure that you're going to need to have your your deposits and everything in your bank account and a lease in place, so that way they know you're not fibbing.
Yeah. Well, I try to keep everything as up and up as I can.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
This management company is like they've got a website, so I've got a owner portal, landlord portal, and everything's real awesome. They're a little pricey, but it's worth it because they handle everything. So it's nice.
Okay. So and just so that way I'm looking, how much experience do you have in this space? Because I'm looking at your experience worksheet, and I'm only seeing one property here, but on your term sheet we're listing 2 to 3. Was there additional properties that weren't listed?
I don't have. They're not completed. So when I read it, it said how many have you completed?
Yes.
But I've got two current flips going in Indianapolis. So I've got one that's currently being worked on and one I'm offloading.
Okay, so when you say currently being worked on, how much more time do you feel you need till it's completed?
I will probably have it listed within 4 weeks. And I'm not keeping it longer. I had my previous contractor. I got stiffed, so my one property, it's not even worth keeping anymore. I'm going to try to make some money off of it while I still can. But there's one that hasn't been in contract very long, so hopefully 4 to 6 weeks it will be on the market, ready to go. These guys have been in there for a week, and they're knocking it out. So.
Oh, nice. Is this the same contractor you plan on using for the 1017 Chapman Ave property?
No, because those are in Indianapolis.
And this one, this from Virginia.
It's far away, but I've learned some very valuable lessons.
So are you local to this property?
Yes.
Okay. And that second flip that you're talking about, not the one that's going to be listed in 4 weeks, but this second flip, is this one you're holding, or this one where are you at with that project?
So I plan on listing for about a month, and if I can't sell it, then I'll just keep it, refinance it, and I've already been in contact with 2 different companies, one for short-term rentals and one for long-term rentals. So
okay.
they're waiting to see. They're waiting to see it when it gets a little bit closer, so we can have a deal ready to go, so that I can just fire it off.
So kind of going back to 1017 Chapman, the subject property.
Yep.
You plan on using a contractor or general contractor for this one?
Yes.
Is it a contractor or a general contractor?
So I don't know if he's like a class A or anything like that. He's just a regular contractor. He's got his own business where he does kind of like handyman stuff. But he's got a team. He acts like he calls it his team when he needs somebody that, he's a guy. He's a dude.
Okay.
He's a dude.
So
I don't think he's licensed.
Oh, okay. So here goes another question. Do you have photos or videos or anything of his work, like before and after photos, that would kind of showcase his ability to rehab a property?
I can ask him. I don't have any. I'm kind of new at this company, but he did send me pictures of a heater he fixed for me in my current property.
Okay.
So that was nice. I mean, he does good work so far.
Okay. Okay. So, lastly, if you could, can you give me like a 2 to 3 minute bio about you and your experience in real estate, so that way when I go to speak to my investors about you, I could talk confidently about your skill set and or lack of experience or your experience.
Okay, so I currently I've always wanted to be in kind of real estate. Like I wanted to have some rentals. I've always kind of like understood the idea of cash flowing business. But I'm a nurse by trade.
Okay.
So I'm not, I didn't like come up as a contractor or anything like that. So we got into some like little bit of financial issues after COVID. And then I was like, well, let me pull the trigger on this and see. So we do Flip Fam, Jake Light's program, and learn how to assess properties and navigate that whole business.
Are you talking about Flip Secrets?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a mentor?
Yes.
Okay. And they're I don't want to say holding your hand, but they're helping you throughout the process. You got access to daily discords if you have questions. They're giving you access to a lender, which is us, I believe. Okay. I love working with Flip Secrets, by the way.
I didn't find you guys through Flip Secrets. I found you guys by accident. I found Renee.
Wow.
So, yeah.
We do a lot of deals for those guys in Flip Secrets, FYI. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot of deals.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, good.
So can you continue? I'm sorry I interrupted.
So I learned the process, and I just went ahead and got some properties, and I funded one myself, the first one that I'm currently losing money off of. But I learned the art of gap lending and doing all that stuff, figuring out costs and things for the second one. My first, so a little bit about the first property that I'm kind of eating some cash on. It was going to be a 2-1 into a 3-2. The upstairs attic is huge and would be an awesome bedroom with a ensuite. But what I think happened, because the contractor won't talk to me anymore, I'm filing suit against them anyway. But so hopefully I'll recover the money that I lost there. If I lose any, still haven't sold it yet. It's currently on the market. But so what I found out, and from putting the pieces together, I think they went for a permit originally and found out it's a 3 to 6 month waiting period.
Oh.
So I think they went ahead and started work anyway, and somewhere around August, they started making promises they couldn't keep, and then they got caught. And when I finally tracked down the inspector, who they weren't sending me the mail. Indianapolis has got like a weird system where you have to be like a foreign entity or something like that. So in any case, long story short, I finally found them, and he's like, yeah, we need to take some action here, but he's like, you've got plenty of time because we're just handling court cases from 2022.
Oh,
So we got some time. So anyway, I'm at the end of my loan term, and I've got an extension on that, and I'm just going to pay off that loan and hopefully put a couple grand in my pocket. So
yeah.
we'll see how that works. Second one, I had to retool all the numbers, and they still work, so I'm good with that. So that's why I don't want to list it for too long. I could probably, I really don't want to have a rental that's a million miles away, but they have all full service companies out there, and real estate company that I'm working with, they're like some young guys that have a lot of rentals and Airbnb some stuff, so they know how it goes. So I feel comfortable, doing that, at least putting it on the off market to sell as an investment property, keep it for a year or two and then sell it when I can make some money off of it.
Okay. So, all right. Well, look, I think I have what I want, and I just kind of want to verify a few things. So,
Okay.
You believe that this rehab's only going to take 90 days. Is that right?
Correct.
And the plan is to put this in a DSCR.
Correct.
Do you think, and you got to remember that do you have any additional cash to help with the DSCR if your ARV doesn't come back strong enough? Because, if your ARV comes back, when you have a purchase and rehab and then you go into a DSCR loan, they'll only do up to 75%.
Yeah.
And if there's not enough cash to cover it in your refi, you would have to come out of pocket.
Sure.
Are you able to do that? If not, you're going to end up having to sell the property.
Yeah, I have. I've got about 20 grand, but so when I make my calculations, I usually come in probably 10 to 15 grand lower, if not more than underwriting. So I'm hoping that when underwriting comes in, they'll feel the same way. So I'm fairly confident if they're higher, we'll get what we need, and I'll still walk away with probably 15 or 20 grand, maybe, even if it's 75%.
Okay, perfect. That's really good to know. We'll double check that number when we get your appraisal back. In the meantime, I like your deal. Jason, you seem like a good enough guy. I love working with the members of Flip Secrets, knowing that you have that mentor who's there holding your hand, essentially helping you to make sure you get to the finish line is amazing. Now, typically, when we have a rehab that pulls one permit, we go to a 6-month term. In your case, where you're not pulling any permits and kind of just looking at your scope of work, would you feel comfortable with a 5-month term?
Well, to me, what are the penalties for going over that term?
We'll give you a 10-day grace period if you're still working with your lender to do the DSCR loan, but it's $100 a day penalty.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a $3,000 a month penalty.
What are the benefits? 5-month term would mean, that's less.
The benefit is
overall cost.
the benefit is, it's a flat rate. Regardless, it's a flat rate. But the benefit is that we could secure investors for your deal way faster. And in some cases, when a deal, if they see that you have a fairly easy scope and you need 6 months to get it done, it doesn't breed confidence in you as a flipper, and then they tend to overlook your deal and go to the next one. And I'll just be upfront with you. I have 15 other deals that I'm working on, and the ones that get funded, the soonest are my 4 and 5 month term deals.
Okay.
The ones that are 6 months can take some time, and in most cases, I'm able to get them funded, but it could take some time. And even some cases, we may need you to get an extension on your contract.
Okay. I've already had some very positive experience with this guy that's doing the flip. Number two, it's close to me. I'm local, and I don't mind. I will show up and paint and do all work and clean. Matter of fact, I told my kids, I've got a million children, and I told them all, I'm like, there's an extensive clean out, and if we want this to move faster, you guys are going to come help, and I'll pay you. And they're all like, okay.
Okay, Dad. Okay. I'm also going to look at your appraisal. And your appraisal, we do a feasibility study, and it gives me an estimated timeline on your rehab. If your rehab says that it's going to take anything longer with a sell, it gives you the rehab and sell time. If it says anything longer than 150 days, then we'll go to 6 months. But if it says anything less than 150 days, even if it says 120 days, which is 4 months, well, I would still like to leave this at a 5 month term.
Sure. Okay. I'll go with that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fairly certain we can wrap this up quickly, and I'm stupid when it comes to work ethic. I'll show up and I won't leave the whole weekend. So, I can do that.
Ain't nothing wrong with hard work, Jason. Ain't nothing wrong with hard work.
Yeah, well, it's worth putting in the time. It's not exactly great weather out there, and it won't be awesome weather for another few months. So it's worth the to have a good asset and increase my repertoire here in the Roanoke area would be good. So it'd be worth the time.
On a side note, I also have multiple properties and rentals, and I put my son to work too. And honestly, my daughter, she was a little young when I started to do all that. But let me tell you, the bonding time that we had, the teaching my son how to paint, the teaching my son how to do all these things, it proves value to them. Like it just benefits them for their future, and it teaches them, about work ethic and working hard and seeing their father doing things. This is great. I like your deal. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna promote it today to my investors to see if I can get a jump start on it. When is your closing date, or do you have a closing date already set up?
I don't, and I'm waiting for this for the appraisal to come back before I even put down the money. This guy is being such a jerk about it, and because he's had a deal that fell through, and I'm like, well, it happens. So he's asking for like $5,000 non-refundable EMD, and I'm like, come on, man, really? Like, so if after repair value comes back smaller, I'm just going to tell him, here's what I'm offering based on this, and take it or leave it, and we walk.
That makes sense.
So,
Jason, if you mind me asking, why did the other financing fall through? Do you know why?
Probably because no one can get it funded because he's asking too much.
Oh.
Don't write that down. I think that when people go in there, they get a little, it's messy. Okay. Like it's, when you see the pictures, it's like not the apartments themselves, but like they're like empty and they need some work, but the basement is full of trash, like absolutely full. And the attic is full, and there's some broken parts. And I think a lot of people go in there and looking like, I'm not paying that much for this. But if the ARV works. I mean, I don't look at it that way. I don't see any major break. There's nothing. The bones are good. The wood's solid. The foundation's solid. And
And it has
you
a
know,
new roof in the last 4 years.
yeah, it's got a new roof and the boilers. There's an issue with the piping to the boiler, but the boiler was replaced the same time the roof was. So we got new stuff. I don't know. I might also add there that the way this guy negotiates might be turning people off.
Yeah, definitely
Because he
sounds that
made-
way.
I mean, I think that these are all my musings. I don't know for sure, and his realtor is frustrated with him. Because she's friends with my realtor. So he's like, I can't get this guy to not be a jerk. So I don't know. He thinks he's got something. Hopefully we can get in there and make this happen. But I'm trusting my numbers, and I'm hoping ARV comes back splendid, in which case we'll pull the trigger because it's still beneficial, even at asking price.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, Jason, listen, I'm going to let you go. I know you're a nurse and you got other patients to speak with. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me, and I'm going to work on funding your deal.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all your hard work. You guys are phenomenal.
All right, Jason. Have a great rest of your day, bud. Bye-bye.
You do the same. Bye-bye.
So, what do you think? I kind of like the guy. And I'm very interested to see where that appraisal comes in at. And knowing that he's doing a DSCR and he's got about 20 grand to put in the pot if he needs to, and he's got 2 other deals. Well, I'm not really going to count those 2 other deals because this sounds like he's not going to be making much money on those. But I like this. Thank you. And if you got this far, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and follow me also on Instagram at Ralph_Hoyos and on Facebook at Ralph Hoyos.